Part 1. Attitude, the silent force that shapes everything. I want you to take a moment and think about this. Every single morning you wake up, you're given a quiet choice. Not a loud, dramatic one. Not one with fireworks or applause. Just a simple, silent, invisible choice. How will you see the world today? Because the way you see the world becomes the world you live in. Let me tell you something I've learned, not in a book, but in life. Attitude is the foundation of everything. And most people never take the time to fix their foundation. You see, some people think attitude is just about being cheerful, smiling, saying positive things. But it's more than that. It's how you handle failure. It's how you bounce back from pain. It's how you carry yourself when nobody is watching. Direct hit attitude is a daily battle. You don't improve your attitude once and expect it to stay fixed forever. It's a daily decision. It's a choice you make every single morning. And here's the truth. Some mornings, you won't feel like making it. Some mornings, the weight of yesterday will try to define your today. But that's where the power is. Not in changing the world around you, but in changing how you show up in it. Brain, what happens when you don't work on your attitude? Let's talk about the flip side. Ever met someone who always has a dark cloud hanging over them? Someone who walks into a room and sucks the energy right out? They could win the lottery and still find a reason to complain. And here's the sad part. That negative attitude repels opportunities. It builds walls instead of bridges. It turns problems into prisons. You might not even realize it, but the world reacts to your attitude more than your words. Magnet attitude is a magnet. It attracts or repels everything. People, opportunities, relationships, success. Your attitude is either working for you or against you every minute of the day. Think about this. Would you want to work with someone who's constantly complaining? Would you trust someone who only sees problems, never solutions? Would you follow a leader who doubts themselves out loud? Neither would anyone else. Light bulb, small changes, big shifts. You don't have to change everything overnight. Nobody expects that. I'm not asking you to become a new person by tomorrow morning. I'm asking you to take small steps. Because a small shift in attitude today can change your whole direction tomorrow. Start with one thing. Be a little more optimistic when things go wrong. Be a little more patient with people who test your limits. Be a little more curious instead of judgmental. Each time you respond differently, each time you rise above the negative, you're rewiring yourself for a better life. Counterclockwise arrows button. Real change is subtle. It's like stacking bricks. One by one. Day by day. Maybe today you focus on gratitude. Tomorrow you focus on hope. The next day you decide to smile, even when you feel like frowning. And before you know it, you've built a fortress. A strong, unshakable version of yourself. One that doesn't crumble under pressure. One that doesn't give up when things fall apart. One that keeps moving, no matter what. Man standing the man in the mirror. There was a time in my life when everything was going wrong. Nothing made sense. Everything felt like a dead end. I was angry, resentful, bitter. And every time I looked in the mirror, I blamed the world. But one day, I realized the problem wasn't the job, the people, or the past. The problem was how I chose to look at it. So I started small. I told myself, today, I'll find one thing to be thankful for. Just one. The next day, I found two. And the day after that, I held the door for a stranger and smiled for no reason. Something changed. Not in the world, but in me. Repeat button. The ripple effect. When your attitude changes, your energy changes. When your energy changes, your actions change. When your actions change, your life changes. That's the chain reaction. And the best part? It all starts inside. Where no one can stop you. Where no one can take it away. Compass, what to do starting today. Here's how you start working on your attitude, right now. Write down 3 things you're grateful for each morning. Not big things. Even, I have running water, is enough. Catch yourself when you complain. Replace it with something you can control. Surround yourself with better energy. Music, books, people. They all feed your attitude. Talk to yourself the way you'd talk to someone you love. Would you call someone else a failure? Then don't call yourself that. Microphone final word on attitude. Let me leave you with this. You can't always control what happens to you, but you can always control how you respond. And that response, your attitude, is either building your future or breaking it down. So ask yourself every morning, am I showing up as a builder or a blamer? Am I stepping forward with courage or sitting in fear? Am I attracting light or spreading shadows? You don't need permission to change your life. You just need to start with your attitude. Because everything begins there. Part 2. Self-discipline. The bridge between dreams and reality. I want you to imagine something. There's a bridge. And on the other side of that bridge is everything you want. Success, peace, confidence, respect, freedom. But here's the truth. You can't fly over that bridge. You can't drive across it. You can't shortcut it. You have to walk it, step by step, every single day. And that bridge, it's built with one thing: self-discipline. Fire discipline isn't natural. It's trained. Let me tell you something most people won't. Nobody is born with self-discipline. It's not a gift. It's a decision. It's the small, silent decision to do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. Especially when you don't feel like it. That's what separates those who just wish for a better life from those who build one. Direct hit the little battles you win in silence. Self-discipline isn't about motivation. Motivation is a burst, a spark, a feeling. Discipline is what shows up when motivation disappears. It's when you wake up and don't want to move, but you still get up. It's when the couch looks better than the gym, but you still lace up your shoes. It's when no one's watching, and you still choose to do the right thing. You see, success is built on thousands of small private victories. Not applause. Not likes. Not validation. Just you versus you. Open book the story of the man who couldn't finish. There was a man I knew. Talented. Intelligent. Passionate. He started projects with fire in his eyes. Every week, a new dream. But the moment it got hard, the moment it got boring, he quit. Started strong. Never finished. Again and again. And year after year, he stayed in the same place. Because he lacked one thing: discipline. One day, I sat with him. I asked, "What's holding you back?" He said, "I just can't stay consistent. I lose focus." I told him, "Then make consistency your practice. Make focus your training ground." He started small. 5 minutes of reading. 10 minutes of focus. One task. Finished to the end. Today, he's a machine. Not because he's gifted, but because he trained himself to finish. Brick discipline is a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. But let it go weak, and it won't show up when you need it. That's why you can't afford to skip your discipline workout. It's not about intensity, it's about consistency. Maybe today you wake up 10 minutes earlier. Tomorrow, you resist the urge to scroll for hours. The next day, you stay focused for 1 full hour. Little by little, brick by brick, you build your strength. Brain discipline equals freedom. Now, this might sound strange, but the more disciplined you are, the freer you become. When you have discipline, you control your time. You control your energy. You control your results. Discipline removes chaos. Most people are not tired from hard work. They're exhausted from disorder. They don't need more rest. They need more structure. And structure comes from discipline. Repeat button build habits that carry you. Here's something powerful to understand. Discipline leads to habit. And habit takes over when willpower is gone. If you build the right habits, you don't have to think about them anymore. You just do. You just become the kind of person who doesn't miss workouts, Who reads, who saves money, who finishes what they start. That's how transformation works. Not all at once. Not overnight. But through invisible, repeated choices. Puzzle piece: what to do starting today. Want to build discipline? Start with something small, and finish it. Pick one non-negotiable habit. Maybe it's making your bed. Maybe it's drinking water. Just start. Create time blocks. Give your focus a home. 30 minutes. No distractions. Just work. Make a rule you follow no matter what. For example, I don't eat after 8 p.m. Stick to it. Track your wins. Each time you win the day, mark it. Momentum builds belief. Pushpin when discipline hurts. Let me be real with you. Discipline doesn't always feel good. In fact, sometimes it sucks. It's lonely. It's hard. It's frustrating. There will be days where quitting looks easier than continuing. But in those moments, I want you to remember this. Quitting feels good for a minute. Discipline feels good for a lifetime. Railway track: the long road. You're not going to feel different tomorrow. Maybe not next week. Maybe not even next month. But 6 months from now, you'll look back and thank the version of you that refused to quit. Because that version is building something. And the world may not see it yet. But you will. Microphone: final word on self-discipline. Self-discipline isn't about punishment. It's not about perfection. It's about making the harder choice, until it becomes the natural choice. It's about showing up, on the days you don't want to. It's about keeping promises, especially the ones you made to yourself. And it's about becoming the kind of person who finishes what they start. So if you want to change your life, don't wait for motivation. Don't wait for clarity. Don't wait for the perfect time. Start small. Stay consistent. Let discipline carry you across that bridge. And on the other side, a version of you that you haven't even met yet. Stronger, sharper, unstoppable. Part 3. Time management. Winning the battle against the clock. I want you to think about something. Every single person you admire, the legends, the leaders, the high achievers, they all have something in common. 24 hours. No more. No less. You, me, the richest billionaire, the most disciplined athlete. We all get the same amount of time each day. So the real question is never, do I have enough time? It's always, what am I doing with the time I have? Because here's the truth most people ignore. Time doesn't slip away, it gets spent. And if you're not managing your time, someone else is managing it for you. Hourglass not done: the illusion of busy. You ever meet someone who's always busy? Running around, overwhelmed, drowning in to-do lists. But somehow, they never actually get anything done. That's not productivity. That's chaos. That's distraction dressed up as action. Time management isn't about doing more. It's about doing what matters most, with focus, clarity, and intent. Because you don't need more time. You need better direction. Brain your schedule reveals your priorities. You want to know what really matters to someone? Look at their calendar. Not their words. Not their dreams. Not their social media. Their daily routine. Because that's where priorities live. Not in goals, but in habits. Not in excitement, but in structure. And if your time is always going toward things that don't move you forward, you're not busy. You're avoiding something. Stop sign what's stealing your time. Let me ask you honestly, how much time are you losing to scrolling? How many hours go into overthinking? How many mornings are wasted hitting snooze? You see, time doesn't just disappear. It gets drained by distractions, indecision, bad habits. And if you don't take control of it, life will control you. People will steal it. Regret will grow in it. Brick build a wall around your focus. Here's something successful people do that most don't. They protect their time like it's money. Because it is. Every distraction costs you. Every interruption steals momentum. Every wasted hour is a bill you'll pay later. In stress, in failure, in missed dreams. So what do? They build walls. Time blocks. Boundaries. Routines. Not because they're rigid, but because they're clear on what matters. Compass the day that changed everything. I remember one guy who used to say this to me. I don't have time. I'm too busy. There's just too much going on. He had goals. He had potential. But his life was scattered. One day, I challenged him. I said, for 1 week, track every hour of your day. No excuses. He came back shocked. 2 hours a day scrolling. 1 hour complaining. 3 hours lost to TV and YouTube. Almost nothing spent on his actual dreams. It hit him hard. Not because he was lazy, but because he wasn't aware. And that awareness changed everything. Today, he's built his dream business. Not because he found more time, but because he stopped losing it. Pushpin: what to start doing today. Want to master your time? Start with these simple steps. Plan your day the night before. Know your top 3 priorities before you even wake up. Time block your focus. Set 25 to 50-minute deep work windows. No distractions. No excuses. Guard your mornings. How you start the day often determines how it ends. Win the first hour. Track your distractions. Keep a notepad. Every time you reach for your phone or get off track, write it down. Schedule your breaks. Rest isn't a reward. It's part of the system. Recharge wisely. Brain the difference between urgent and important. Here's a trick most people miss. Not everything that feels urgent is important. And not everything important feels urgent. Learn to tell the difference. Urgent: answering every message the moment it arrives. Important: finishing that course that changes your career. Urgent: replying to notifications. Important: building your dream project. Choose importance over urgency, and your life will shift. Repeat button: small wins compound. Don't try to become a master scheduler overnight. Start small. Maybe today you schedule just 1 focused hour. Tomorrow, 2. By next week, you've built momentum. Time management isn't about perfection. It's about intention. Show me someone who manages their time well, and I'll show you someone in control of their future. Microphone: final word on time management. Let me leave you with this. You're not running out of time. You're just not giving it a job. Every day, time knocks at your door. What you do with it, that's your legacy. You don't need more hours. You need more ownership. So stop saying, I don't have time. Start saying, this isn't a priority. I'm choosing this instead of that. I own every minute I spend. And when you start living like that, you don't just manage time, you master it. Part 4. Mindset: rewriting the story you tell yourself. Let me ask you something. What's the voice in your head saying right now? Because whether you realize it or not, you're always in a conversation. Not with the world, not with other people, but with yourself. And that voice, that story you repeat in your head every day, it becomes your reality. Your mindset isn't just how you think, it's how you live. Brain: what is mindset, really? People hear mindset and think it's about being positive all the time. Smiling, chanting affirmations, ignoring problems. No. Mindset is deeper than that. It's the lens you look through. The filter that colors every decision, every reaction, every belief. It's the difference between, this is too hard, and, I'll figure it out. I'm not good enough, and, I'm growing every day. Why is this happening to me? And, what is this teaching me? And here's the truth. You don't fix your mindset once. You work on it every single day. The mindset you don't know you have. You know what's dangerous? A limiting mindset that hides in plain sight. It's quiet. It's subtle. But it shows up like this. I'm not a morning person. I've always been bad at money. I can't change. That's just who I am. These aren't facts. They're beliefs. And beliefs can be rewritten. But most people never challenge them. They let their past write their future. They become prisoners in a story they never questioned. Open book the story of a man who hated himself. I once knew a man, smart, creative, kind. But he never saw it. He walked around with invisible chains. Not physical ones, but mental ones. He thought he wasn't good enough. He believed he would always fail. He convinced himself that people didn't like him. One day I asked him, "Where did you learn that?" He paused. No one ever told him he wasn't good enough. He just decided it, after a few bad moments. And then replayed it, again and again, until it became his reality. But the moment he started to challenge that story, the moment he said, "Maybe that's not true anymore," everything started to change. Brick mindset is built, not bought. You don't buy a strong mindset. You build it, brick by brick. With every obstacle you face. With every belief you break. With every time you choose to try again instead of giving up. And yes, it's uncomfortable. Because changing your mindset means changing your identity. Letting go of the old you. To become the version you were meant to be. Repeat button rewire. Reframe. Rebuild. Here's how you start improving your mindset every day. Catch the negative thought. Don't ignore it. Call it out. Question it. Ask, "Is this true? Or just familiar?" Reframe it. Turn, "I can't," into, "I'm learning how." Repeat it. Say the new thought enough times, and it becomes your truth. Magnifying glass tilted left, your mindset shapes your results. Let's say two people face the same failure. One says, "This proves I'm a loser." The other says, "This is a lesson. I'll adjust and go again." Same failure. Different mindset. Guess who succeeds in the long run? You already know. Success isn't about avoiding problems. It's about how your mind meets those problems. Compass the fixed versus growth mindset. Dr. Carol Dweck said it best. A fixed mindset says, "I'm either good at this, or I'm not." A growth mindset says, "I can improve with effort." One keeps you stuck. The other pulls you forward. And you choose, every day, which one you live in. Pushpin what to start doing today. Here's your daily workout for a better mindset. Gratitude journaling. Write down 3 things that went right today. Even if they're small. Reframe one thought. Turn, "I messed up," into, "I'm learning." Visualize a win. Close your eyes for 2 minutes and imagine success. Feel it. Feed your mind. Read, listen, and watch things that challenge and uplift you, not drain you. Fire what happens when you shift. When your mindset changes, your language changes. Your posture changes. Your energy changes. You walk into rooms differently. You handle rejection differently. You stop breaking under pressure and start growing under it. Because when you believe you're becoming someone powerful, the world starts to believe it too. Microphone final word on mindset. Let me leave you with this. You are not your thoughts. You are the thinker of your thoughts. And that means you can change them. You can rewrite your story. You can rise above your patterns. You can shift from limitation to liberation. But you have to work on it every single day. So start now. Choose a better thought. Tell a better story. Live a better life. Because the only thing stronger than your circumstance is your mindset. Part 5. Communication. The hidden skill that shapes every relationship. Let me ask you something. Have you ever said something with the right heart, but it was heard the wrong way? Or stayed silent when you should have spoken up? Or spoke when you should have listened? Because here's the truth. Your entire life is shaped by how you communicate. Not just what you say, but how you listen, how you connect, how you make people feel. And the scary part? Most people never work on this. They think communication is just about talking. But it's not. It's about connection. Magnifying glass tilted left, everyone communicates. Few actually connect. You've probably had this moment before. You're speaking to someone, but they're not really there. They're nodding, maybe smiling, but the energy's off. You feel invisible. Now flip that. Have you ever been heard, really heard? Where someone made you feel like you mattered? That's communication. That's the skill you have to build. Not someday, but every day. Open book the story of a conversation that changed everything. I knew a man who was always misunderstood. People said he was cold, arrogant, distant. But the truth, he was just guarded. He didn't know how to express what he felt. He thought talking was weakness. So he stayed silent and lost relationships he truly cared about. Until one day, someone said to him, "The problem isn't that you don't feel anything, it's that you don't share it." That hit him. So he started small. One honest sentence a day. One real conversation a week. And over time, he didn't just learn to speak. He learned to connect. Direct hit communication is a two-way street. Here's something most people don't realize. Talking is only half the skill. Listening is the other. Not fake listening. Not waiting for your turn to speak. But real listening. With your eyes. With your heart. With your full attention. Because when people feel heard, they open up. When they open up, trust is built. And where there's trust, there's transformation. Speech balloon. Your words are tools. Every word you speak is like a tool. It can build someone up. Or tear someone down. It can heal. Or it can wound. So choose carefully. That sarcastic comment? It lingers. That encouragement? It echoes. That apology? It restores. Words have power. And when used with intention, they change everything. Brain communication and leadership. Want to be a better leader? Work on your communication. Because people don't follow titles. They follow clarity. They follow passion. They follow connection. You could have the best ideas in the world. But if you can't express them clearly, they'll never spread. You could care deeply about someone. But if you can't communicate it, they'll never feel it. Pushpin. What to start practicing today. Want to become a better communicator? Start with these habits. Ask, then listen. Ask meaningful questions, and actually care about the answer. Pause before you speak. That 1-second pause could save you from saying something you regret. Say people's names. It sounds simple, but it creates instant connection. Be honest, not harsh. Tell the truth with love. Deliver clarity with compassion. Practice active listening. Nod. Paraphrase. Reflect back what you heard. Make them feel seen. Brick build it bit by bit. Communication isn't something you master overnight. You won't go from quiet to confident in a week. Or from awkward to articulate in a day. But you can start improving. One interaction at a time. Maybe today you make eye contact instead of looking away. Tomorrow, you speak up in that meeting. The next day, you send that message you've been avoiding. Every day you become clearer, braver, more connected. High voltage. Why most people avoid it. Let's be honest. Many people avoid communication not because they don't know what to say, but because they're afraid of being misunderstood. Afraid of judgment, rejection, conflict. But avoiding hard conversations creates harder problems. Say it now. Clear it up now. Express it while it's still fixable. Because silence builds distance. Compass the energy of your voice. It's not just what you say, it's how you say it. Your tone, your energy, your intent. People feel it, even if they can't explain it. Speak with purpose. Listen with presence. Connect with courage. Microphone. Final word on communication. Let me leave you with this. Your ability to communicate will determine the quality of your life. Because every dream, every relationship, every opportunity, it all hinges on one thing. Can you connect? Can you be understood? And understand? So don't wait to become a better communicator. Start today. Speak with kindness. Listen with intention. Say what matters, even when it's hard. Because at the end of the day, your voice is your power. Use it, shape it, and watch how your entire life begins to change. Part 6. Health, the body that carries the dream. Let me tell you something people don't like to hear. Your dreams mean nothing if your body can't carry them. You can have the clearest vision. You can have the greatest mindset. You can build the strongest work ethic in the world. But if your health fails, the dream fails with it. We spend our lives chasing success, chasing status, chasing money, but we forget the most important asset we have. The vessel, the machine, the body. And it's the one thing we have to work on every single day, or it breaks down slowly, silently, and without warning. Warning, the wake-up call that comes too late. I knew a man once. Sharp, ambitious, relentless. He built his business from the ground up. Worked late nights. Skipped meals. Slept 3 hours a night. He thought grinding 24/7 was strength. He thought rest was weakness. He laughed at people who stretched, who meditated, who walked. Until one day, his body made the decision for him. Chest tightness. Dizziness. ER visit. The doctor looked at him and said, "Your body is screaming for help. And if you don't listen, it won't ask again." That moment changed everything. Because here's the truth. You don't appreciate your health until you're begging to get it back. Brick health is built in the boring. Health isn't made in one gym session, or one green smoothie, or one detox weekend. It's built in the boring. The daily, unseen, unsexy choices. Choosing water over soda. Going for a walk instead of another episode. Sleeping 7 hours instead of scrolling for 3. These things don't get claps. But they save lives. They keep the engine running, so the dream doesn't die on the side of the road. Alarm clock, you don't have time to be sick. People say, I don't have time to eat healthy. I don't have time to work out. But let me ask you this. Do you have time for medications? Do you have time for surgeries? Do you have time to be in pain every day? Because neglect today becomes emergency tomorrow. You either make time for wellness, or you're forced to make time for illness. Repeat button the small habits that add up. Let me make this simple. You don't need to run marathons. You don't need to be a bodybuilder. You just need to build momentum. Move your body every day. 20 minutes of walking, stretching, anything. Just move. Fuel like you care. Eat to nourish, not to numb. Sleep like it's your secret weapon. Because it is. Hydrate constantly. Water is life. And most people are running on empty. Breathe. Stress destroys more than diet ever could. These aren't trends. They're foundations. Brain mental health is health. Let's not forget the other half, the part you can't see. Mental health. If your mind is exhausted, anxious, spiraling, it doesn't matter how strong your body is. Because the real battle is inside. So here's what you need to start doing daily. Journal your thoughts. Talk to someone. Meditate or sit in silence. Take breaks from noise, including your phone. Celebrate small wins. Forgive yourself. Often. Because your mind is a garden. And if you don't take care of it, weeds take over. Hammer and wrench, rebuild, repair, recover. You're not supposed to feel amazing every day. But you are supposed to take responsibility every day. And if you've been neglecting your health, today can be the turning point. Not next year. Not when you feel motivated. Today. Start small. Start where you are. But start. Open book The Man Who Reclaimed His Body. There was a guy who used to drink 6 sodas a day. Fast food every other meal. No movement. No energy. He was tired, sluggish, always frustrated. One day, he looked in the mirror and didn't recognize himself. And that was the moment. He didn't hire a trainer. He didn't sign up for boot camp. He just started walking 15 minutes a day. Then 20. Then 30. He replaced soda with water. Fast food with eggs and toast. It was slow. It was hard. It was imperfect. But 6 months later, he wasn't just lighter. He was alive again. Compass, what are you running on? Let me ask you this. If your body was a car, what would your dashboard look like? Check engine light on? Running on fumes? Tires flat from sitting too long? Your body speaks. Are you listening? Microphone, final word on health. Let me leave you with this. You only get one vehicle in this life, and there are no trade-ins. So take care of it. Fuel it. Move it. Let it rest. Let it recover. Let it breathe. Because the body carries the dream. And without it, the dream can't move forward. You're not working out for abs. You're working out for energy. For focus. For your future. So today, take one step. Make one better choice. Honor the machine. Because every day you work on your health, you add time, power, and clarity to your purpose. And that's a trade worth making. Part 7. Finances. The daily discipline that builds freedom. Let me tell you something that might sting a little. It's not how much you make. It's what you do with what you make. You could earn 6 figures and still live paycheck to paycheck. You could win the lottery and be broke in a year. Why? Because financial success doesn't come from income. It comes from discipline, from daily choices, from working on your financial habits every single day. Money with Wings. Money is a mirror. Money doesn't change who you are. It reveals who you are. If you're reckless when you're broke, you'll be reckless when you're rich. If you're disciplined with a little, you'll be powerful with a lot. Most people think their problem is not enough money. But for many, it's a lack of financial awareness, a lack of structure, a lack of vision. Open book. The man with the empty bank account. I knew a man once. Hard-working, reliable, always busy. But every month, the same story. He'd get paid, and within 2 weeks, he was broke again. When I asked him what was going on, he said, I don't even know where my money goes. It just disappears. So I gave him a challenge. Track every single rupee for 30 days. Everything. Coffee. Snacks. Bills. By day 10, he was shocked. He wasn't broke. He was just unaware. He was bleeding money in places he never noticed. And the moment he became aware, he took control. Brain financial peace is built daily. Here's what most people get wrong. They think managing money is a big event. A big decision. A one-time fix. But it's not. It's a daily discipline. Choosing not to buy that thing you don't need. Putting 5% into savings, even when it feels small. Saying no today, so you can say yes to freedom later. Building construction. Build the foundation first. Before you invest, before you grow, before you chase financial freedom, you need a foundation. Start here. Track your spending. Know exactly where every rupee goes. Awareness creates power. Create a basic budget. Income, expenses equals freedom. If the math isn't working, neither will your plan. Eliminate unnecessary debt. Credit cards. High-interest loans. Learn to say no to buy now, cry later. Start saving, no matter how small. Even 100 rupees a day builds the habit. It's not the amount. It's the behavior. Brick wealth is quiet. You know what's loud? Flashy clothes. Brand new cars bought on credit. Living large for likes. But wealth, real wealth, it's quiet. It's disciplined. It's built behind the scenes. It's the person who drives the same car for 10 years. Because they're investing in assets, not impressing strangers. It's the one who wears a cheap watch, but owns the building. If you want to build wealth, stop chasing applause. Start chasing ownership. Repeat button. Replace money habits that hurt you. Here's how you improve your finances daily. Replace impulse buys with intentional saving. Replace emotional spending with emotional awareness. Replace, "I'll start next month," with, "I'll start with what I have." You don't need a windfall. You need wisdom. Moneybag money and freedom. Here's what most people forget. Money is not the goal. Freedom is. The freedom to choose. The freedom to walk away. The freedom to rest without fear. The freedom to invest in your purpose. Money gives you that power, but only when you control it. Because when money controls you, your choices shrink. But when you control money, your world expands. Compass your financial identity. Maybe you grew up thinking money was evil. Or maybe no one ever taught you how to manage it. That's okay. But here's the truth. You don't rise to your income. You rise to your financial habits. So shift the identity. From spender, steward. From broke, builder. From confused, confident. And how do you shift it? By practicing, every single day. Pushpin what to start doing today. Here's your financial workout. Look at your bank statement today. Face it. No judgment. Just awareness. Create one simple money rule. I save 10%. I spend only cash. I wait 24 hours before buying anything over 1,000. Set a tiny savings goal. Not for vacation. Not for shopping. But for discipline. Read one page of a financial book every day. Learn what school never taught you. Microphone final word on finances. Let me leave you with this. Money doesn't solve all problems, but it makes most problems easier to solve. And you don't build a fortune in a day. You build it in the shadows. In the small, consistent decisions. In the moments where no one's watching. So work on your finances every day. Track. Save. Learn. Grow. Because financial success isn't about luck. It's about daily discipline. And the freedom it creates. That is priceless. Part 8. Personal Development. Becoming the person who can carry the dream. Let me tell you something powerful. You'll never rise above the level of the person you are becoming. You want a better life? You want more success? You want deeper relationships, stronger results, and greater peace? Then you need to become someone who can carry those things. Because your dreams are heavy, and without personal development, you won't be strong enough to lift them. Your life will always mirror your growth. People chase goals. More money, better habits, stronger relationships, bigger opportunities. But here's the truth most people miss. You don't get what you want. You get what you are. Your mindset, your skills, your character, your ability to lead, listen, learn, and adapt. All of it is personal development. And all of it is required. Daily. Open book the story of a man who stayed the same. I knew a man who was stuck for years. He had the same goals. Same complaints. Same dreams. Every year he'd say, "This is my year." And every year, nothing changed. Not because he lacked talent. Not because he didn't want it badly. But because he never grew. He read no books. He refused feedback. He avoided change. So he stayed exactly where he was. Wishing for a life his habits couldn't support. Repeat button growth is a daily choice. Personal development isn't something you do once in a while. It's something you build into who you are. It happens when you read one more page. You listen to one more podcast. You reflect on one more failure. You ask one better question. And the result? You become a better version of yourself. One day at a time. Brain, you grow or you decay. Here's the brutal truth. If you're not growing, you're not standing still. You're falling behind. Because the world is moving. Opportunities are moving. People are evolving. And if you stay the same, you'll find yourself stuck in a life that no longer fits who you need to be. Growth is uncomfortable, but so is regret. You get to choose your discomfort. Brick personal development is building the foundation. Here's what most people try to do. They chase the fruit, without growing the root. They want success, but avoid discipline. They want love, but avoid healing. They want impact, but avoid self-awareness. But you can't skip steps. You don't just get to have more. You have to become more. And that happens when you take responsibility for your growth. Every day. Pushpin what to practice every day. Here's how you work on your personal development. Starting now. Read 10 pages of a good book daily. Books change minds. Minds change lives. Write down your thoughts. Journaling clears the mental fog and builds clarity. Get around better conversations. You grow through exposure. Surround yourself with those who stretch you. Set mini challenges. Every week, get out of your comfort zone. Speak up. Start something. Finish something. Reflect every evening. Ask, what did I learn today? How did I grow? Open book The Woman Who Grew Her Way Out. There was a woman I met. Single mom, 3 kids, working 2 jobs. She didn't have time, money, or support. But every night, after putting the kids to bed, she read. She watched courses. She journaled. She visualized a better life. 5 years later, she built her own business. Not because someone gave her a break, but because she broke through. And she'll tell you, I didn't get lucky. I got serious about my growth. Compass identity, information. Here's what most people get wrong. They think personal development is about collecting information. It's not. It's about shaping identity. It's not what you know. It's who you become through what you know. And that only happens when you apply what you learn. Live it. Struggle through it. Master it. Fire you become what you practice. You want confidence? Practice courage. You want peace? Practice boundaries. You want respect? Practice discipline. Every day you get to choose the kind of person you are becoming. And it's not decided by the big moments. It's built in the small ones. Microphone final word on personal development. Let me leave you with this. Your greatest asset is not your job, not your income, not even your reputation. It's the person you are becoming when no one's watching. So work on that person every day. Read, reflect, rebuild, repeat. Because everything you want in life, the peace, the power, the purpose, it all starts inside. And when you grow on the inside, everything else starts to shift on the outside. Part 9. Purpose. Living with direction in a distracted world. Let me ask you something you might not have heard in a while. Why are you here? Not, why are you at your job? Not, why do you wake up early? Not, why do you grind? But really, why are you alive? What pulls you forward when everything around you says quit? Because here's the truth. If you don't live on purpose, you'll live by accident. And that's how most people move through life. Wandering, reacting, drifting from one distraction to the next. Not because they're lazy, but because they've never stopped to define what they're truly living for. Compass purpose is the compass. You can be productive and still be lost. You can be successful and still feel empty. You can have the money, the status, the fame, and still ask yourself, why does it still feel hollow? Because activity without purpose is just noise. And purpose is the compass that brings meaning to the motion. It tells you what to say yes to, what to walk away from, what to fight for, and why it matters. Open book The Man Who Had Everything But Purpose. I once knew a man who had it all. Wealth, influence, a business people admired. But every time he came home, he felt a quiet ache. He couldn't explain it. He just felt like something was missing. One day, he said to me, I've climbed the mountain, but I'm not sure it was the right one. That hit me hard. Because so many people are chasing more, but never asking what for. He took time off, spent months in reflection, volunteered, mentored young men, reconnected with his family. And when he came back, he told me, I finally feel like my life has weight. That's what purpose does. It anchors you. Brick purpose is built, not found. Here's what they don't tell you. Purpose isn't something you magically discover in a journal or meditation. It's not a lightning strike. It's something you build, bit by bit, day by day, by paying attention to what matters to you, by living in alignment with your values, by choosing depth over distraction. And yes, it evolves. What drives you today may shift tomorrow. That's okay. Because purpose isn't fixed, it's forged. Brain distraction is the enemy of purpose. Let's be honest. We live in a world full of noise. Notifications, trends, opinions, algorithms designed to pull your focus in every direction, except inward. If you don't guard your purpose, it gets buried under comparison, under urgency, under everyone else's agenda. You have to fight for it. You have to protect your inner clarity like your life depends on it, because it does. Pushpin what to start practicing every day. Want to strengthen your purpose? Start small, but start with intention. Ask yourself, what matters most to me? Not someday, not later, today. Do one thing that aligns with your values. Serve, create, encourage, build, teach, give. Cut one distraction that pulls you off course. One app, one habit, one energy drain. Reflect at the end of your day. Ask, did I live with purpose today, or just with pressure? Compass purpose isn't always passion. Let's clear up a lie. You won't always feel passionate every day. You won't always wake up excited. But purpose goes deeper than passion. It says, even when I'm tired, I keep going. Even when no one sees me, I keep building. Even when it's hard, I still believe this matters. Passion is the fire. Purpose is the foundation. Open book The Woman Who Chose Purpose Over Approval. There was a woman I met, brilliant, creative, full of potential. But for years, she lived to please others, to meet expectations, to follow the path her family, her friends, society had laid out for her. She looked successful, but she felt suffocated. One day she said, I can't live like this anymore. I have no idea who I am. So she unplugged, took a sabbatical, got uncomfortable, and for the first time in her life, she listened to her own voice. Today she runs a foundation that changes lives. Not because it pays the most, not because it's glamorous, but because it's aligned, because it's hers. That's the power of purpose. It gives you your life back. Microphone final word on purpose. Let me leave you with this. You weren't born to survive. You were born to live with meaning. So don't wait for purpose to find you. Pay attention. Be honest about what truly matters. Do one thing today that brings meaning to your motion. Because when you work on your purpose every day, you stop drifting, and you start driving. And the moment your life is rooted in purpose, everything changes. Your work becomes meaningful. Your pain becomes fuel. Your discipline becomes devotion. So ask yourself right now, what am I really living for? And when you find even a glimpse of that answer, chase it like your life depends on it. Because it does. Part 10. Gratitude. The daily practice that changes everything. Let me tell you something that most people overlook. Gratitude is not just a feeling, it's a focus. And what you focus on expands. We live in a world that constantly tells you, you need more. You're behind. You're not enough. So it's easy to wake up already feeling like you're losing. Like your life is incomplete. Like you've failed just by being where you are. But what if I told you, gratitude is how you win, before anything even changes. Cloud with rain, the storm doesn't always stop, but you can still be grateful. Gratitude doesn't mean everything's perfect. It doesn't mean you're happy with every part of your life. It doesn't mean you ignore pain, loss, or hardship. Gratitude means you see the good, even in the chaos. You acknowledge the light, even when things feel dark. You anchor your focus on what's here, instead of what's missing. Because here's the truth. Gratitude doesn't fix your problems. It changes how you face them. Open book the story of a woman who had nothing left. I once met a woman who had lost almost everything. Her business had collapsed. Her partner had walked away. She was deep in debt and living on the floor of her friend's spare room. One day, I asked her, "What gets you up every morning?" She paused, smiled gently, and said, "Because I still have breath in my lungs. And as long as I do, there's still a chance to rebuild." That's gratitude. Not fake positivity, but real perspective. And that perspective, it gave her the strength to start again, one thankful step at a time. Repeat button gratitude rewires your brain. Science confirms what wisdom already knows. When you practice gratitude consistently, your brain changes. You feel less anxious. You think more clearly. You respond to challenges with strength, not panic. You develop an abundance mindset, even in scarcity. Because gratitude isn't just spiritual, it's strategic. It teaches your mind to look for what's working, instead of drowning in what's not. Compass gratitude changes direction. Here's something powerful to understand. Where focus goes, emotion flows. If you focus on what's broken, you feel broken. If you focus on what's missing, you feel lacking. If you focus on what's unfair, you feel bitter. But if you focus on what you have, you feel whole. You feel capable. You feel enough. That's the shift. And it's one you choose, every single day. Pushpin what to practice every day. Here's how you build a gratitude habit into your life. Gratitude journal, 2 minutes a day. Write down 3 things you're grateful for. Big or small. No repeats. Gratitude walks. Walk in silence and observe. Be thankful for the air, the sky, your legs, your senses. Gratitude pause. Before a meal, a task, a challenge. Take 5 seconds to silently say, "Thank you." Gratitude letter, once a week. Send a message or letter to someone who helped you, even if it was years ago. These small practices recalibrate your soul. Build a grateful identity. Don't just do grateful things. Become a grateful person. Let it show in how you speak. Let it soften how you treat others. Let it guide how you respond to setbacks. Gratitude doesn't make you weak. It makes you resilient. It gives you strength when your plans fall apart, and grace when your ego wants to explode. Open book the man who found peace in the small things. There was a man, once driven by ambition, status, comparison. Every win felt empty. Every loss felt like the end of the world. Until one day, everything crashed. His business, his image, his identity. But as he sat alone in silence, he noticed the birds singing outside his window. He noticed the way the sunlight poured into the room. He noticed he still had a chance to rebuild with better bricks. And in that moment, gratitude found him. Not because everything was fixed, but because he finally saw what had been there all along. Today, he's more successful than ever. But more importantly, he's at peace. Because he no longer lives for more. He lives with awareness of what he already has. Microphone final word on gratitude. Let me leave you with this. A grateful heart isn't blind. It's brave. It chooses to see beauty in the cracks, strength in the struggle, hope in the hard. And it's something you can practice every day, starting now. Say thank you more. Write down your blessings. Pause. Breathe. Smile, for no reason at all. Because gratitude is not the reward at the end of the journey. It's the power that carries you through it. So if you're tired, overwhelmed, chasing something unclear, come back to this. What can I be grateful for, right here, right now? You'll be surprised how much good is still around you, and how much stronger you become when you choose to see it.